Imagine a place of breathtaking beauty, where nature asserts its absolute dominance. Now, imagine a child, full of life, laughter, who simply vanishes. No cry, no trace, just the chilling, profound silence. This is the story of Dennis Martin, and a disappearance that still haunts America's beloved Great Smoky Mountains. On Father's Day, June 14, 1969, 6-year-old Dennis Martin, along with his father William, his grandfather Clyde, and his older brother Douglas, were enjoying a camping trip. Their chosen spot. A remote, idyllic clearing in the vast Great Smoky Mountains National Park, nestled near a babbling creek named Spence Field. The air was crisp, the sky was clear, and the promise of adventure filled the summer afternoon. This was meant to be a day of simple, familial joy. After lunch, the boys, Dennis and Douglas, full of youthful energy, decided to play a game. They would run ahead, hide among the trees, and then jump out to surprise the adults. Douglas went first, scampering up a steep wooded incline, hiding behind a tree, and successfully startling his father. Then it was Dennis's turn. With a mischievous grin, the 6-year-old dashed up the same incline, disappearing into the thick undergrowth, ready to execute his part of the playful ambush. William and Clyde waited and waited. A few seconds turned into a minute, then 2. The playful anticipation began to morph into a quiet unease. Douglas, who had already completed his part of the prank, came back, looking for his younger brother. "Where's Dennis?" William called out, his voice initially light, then tinged with a subtle edge of worry. There was no reply. The playful sounds of the forest seemed to have swallowed the boy whole. They called his name again, louder. The calm, warm afternoon suddenly felt cold. Silence. A terrifying, absolute silence, where a moment ago there was a child's laughter. In that instant, the idyllic Father's Day trip became a nightmare. Dennis Martin, at just 6 years old, had vanished into thin air. William and Clyde immediately launched into a frantic search, their calls turning from worried pleas to desperate shouts. They retraced their steps, scoured the incline, yelled his name until their throats were raw. But the vastness of the Great Smoky Mountains, with its deep ravines, thickets, and treacherous terrain, swallowed their cries. Within minutes, the reality set in. Dennis was truly, incomprehensibly gone. By nightfall, the alarm had spread. Park rangers were mobilized, and within hours, one of the largest search and rescue operations in the history of the park began. Hundreds of volunteers, park officials, Green Berets, and even members of the National Guard descended upon Spence Field. The hope was that Dennis, though small, had simply wandered off, perhaps found shelter, and would be found quickly. But the Smokies are known for their unforgiving nature, and time was of the essence. For days, the search continued relentlessly. Over 1,400 people combed the rugged terrain, covering every inch of the estimated area. Search dogs, highly trained, were brought in, their noses to the ground, searching for the faintest scent. Helicopters crisscrossed the skies, their powerful beams cutting through the canopy. The weather, however, turned hostile. Heavy rains descended, washing away any potential tracks and making the treacherous landscape even more dangerous for searchers. The temperature plummeted at night, a cruel twist for a small boy lost in the wild. 10 days passed, 10 days of exhaustive searching, of hope slowly eroding into despair. Despite the unprecedented scale of the operation, not a single definitive trace of Dennis Martin was ever found. No clothing, no footprints, no sign of a struggle, no discarded candy wrapper. Nothing. It was as if the boy had simply vanished from the face of the earth. The silence that followed the initial calls for Dennis was now a permanent, deafening echo across the mountains. As if Dennis's complete disappearance wasn't unsettling enough, a bizarre and chilling incident occurred just hours after he vanished. A park visitor reported hearing a blood-curdling scream of an adult man around 5 p.m., approximately 30 minutes to an hour after Dennis was last seen. The scream came from a drainage area on the opposite side of the mountain, a few miles away from Spence Field. The witness initially dismissed it, thinking it might be a prank or an animal sound. But when news of Dennis's disappearance spread, that terrifying scream echoed in their mind, taking on a sinister new meaning. A team was immediately dispatched to the reported area, but like every other lead, it turned up nothing. The scream, much like Dennis himself, seemed to have been swallowed by the vast, silent wilderness. The mysteries surrounding Dennis's case deepened with another perplexing report. A few hours after Dennis disappeared, a tourist named Harold Key came forward. He claimed to have seen a suspicious man running on a remote road, carrying something in his arms, possibly trying to avoid being seen. This road was one of the few that would have allowed a quick escape from the park. Could this stranger be connected? Was the terrifying scream heard by the visitor somehow linked to Dennis's fate, or to this unidentified individual? The remote nature of the park, combined with the limited technology of 1969, meant that these crucial leads quickly went cold. The pieces of the puzzle remained scattered, refusing to form a coherent picture. The Smokies, known for hiding countless secrets within their ancient peaks, seemed determined to keep this one. Decades later, the case of Dennis Martin remains officially unsolved, fueling numerous theories. One theory: he simply got lost. A small boy, disoriented in dense wilderness, succumbed to the elements or fell into a crevice. Yet the exhaustive, professional search yielded no evidence, no trace, not a single clue. A complete absence of typical signs for someone lost in the woods. Another theory: an animal attack. The Smokies are home to bears and other predators. However, again, no remains were ever found, no signs of a struggle. Animals typically leave behind evidence of their presence. A darker, more unsettling theory: abduction. Was the mysterious screaming man or the unidentified stranger involved? Did someone take Dennis, spiriting him away from the park, potentially without a sound, given the lack of struggle evidence? This scenario is truly chilling given the strange reports. For some researchers, like David Paulides from the controversial Missing 411 series, Dennis Martin's case fits into a wider, perplexing pattern of unexplained disappearances in national parks that defy logical explanation. These cases often involve bizarre weather shifts, a sudden onset of fear, and the baffling total absence of trace evidence. Could something else, something deeply strange and unknown, be at play in these ancient mountains, beyond our current understanding? The Great Smoky Mountains continue to hold Dennis Martin's secret. A child vanished without a trace, leaving behind a family tormented by unanswered questions and a wilderness that refuses to yield its hidden truths. The case serves as a chilling reminder that even in places of profound beauty, the unknown can emerge, leaving us to grapple with the terrifying reality that some mysteries are simply never meant to be solved. What do you think happened to Dennis Martin? Was it an accident, an animal, an abduction, or something far more inexplicable? Share your theories in the comments below. If this case intrigued you, subscribe to Silent Cases Files for more unexplained mysteries that will leave you questioning everything. We explore the secrets the world hides in plain sight.